Welcome to Tbilisi, the capital city of Georgia, where a third of the population of the country lives. Now, because Georgia is in the crosspass between Europe and Asia, this city has been ransacked, burnt, and taken over by everybody from the Persians, the Mongols, and the Russians. But somehow it's survived. Now, I am starting this from Liberty Square, which is the heart of the city. And I've come out after being in the city for 3 days. This is the first time, because if you have been following me, you'll know that I've been full of cold. I've had man flu. And if you probably hear that I am bunged up, which is the official medical term. But I needed to get out, get some fresh air, see some of the city, and what better place than the old town. So Freedom Square, or Liberty Square, has had a couple of names in its past, but has settled on its current name after the collapse of the Soviet Empire in 1918. Originally in the centre there was a Lenin statue, but when Georgia got its independence in 1991, the statue was symbolically dismantled, and then in 2006 it was replaced by this one now, which is St. George slaying the dragon. Tbilisi is a very touristy place. Where I was just before, they've got about 5 or 6 walking tours going around, Georgian, Russian, English. You can just see so many tourists in this place. This is still Liberty Square. Now, just over there is the City Assembly, built in the 19th century, and it used to be the City Police Department, which looks a bit too big for the police. And then across over from me there is Courtyard Marriott, which is one of the most expensive hotels that I definitely can't afford on my £25 a day budget. But we're going to head down here. Right, I'm leaving Liberty Square behind me, and I'm coming through this thoroughfare, and it's like the heartbeat of the city, and it's called Rustaveli Avenue. Now, that is a big shopping centre, of which I would love to go in, but I am trying to go around as quickly as possible, just so I can get back to the guest house that I'm staying at. Now, originally when I first arrived, I got myself a cheap hostel, but I didn't really want to inflict my germs on the people that were staying there. Plus I wanted some me time just to recover. So the guest house I found, which I'll show you at the end, is perfect. Bit more than what I would expect to pay for my budget, £16 a night. But it has done the trick of getting rid of my illness. Coming a bit further down, and you've got here the National Youth and Children's Palace, and this was built by the Russians in the 18th century, basically just to say, look at what we can do. This is one of the best buildings in the city. But this is also known as the place where the Georgians signed their Declaration of Independence, somewhere in there, on the 26th of May 1918. And later that day, for some reason, Azerbaijan signed their own state of independence. Azerbaijan. And the architecture around here is pretty amazing. I mean, across the road is the Georgian Museum of Fine Arts. I like that. And just above the door there, is that an eagle? But this is what I want to see. The government building. Now outside at the entrance is a protest going on. The Parliament of Georgia building, and it's quite big, goes all the way around to the back, but the protest there sanctions Putin's puppet Ivanishvili and his pro-Russian government, is what it says on his little placard. There's EU flags everywhere, tents. There's a guy in there keeps coming out with his Georgian flag in his pocket. It looks like they've been there for a while. You got a little box there for donations for the protest. Now, if I wasn't on a budget, I might have put a donation in. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm carrying this camera, but I've just been asked by two people to have take their photographs in front of the building. Now, when you do look at this building and realise that the protest is against Russia, right in front of the government building is this. There's a memorial commemorating the tragic events of April the 9th in 1989. So Soviet forces came across, dispersed a peaceful pro-independence demonstration in front of this building, and 9th of April 1989 also has a park over there, which I'm going to go to in a minute. 21 people were killed in the demonstration, hundreds were injured, and then in the aftermath of the deaths, a little memorial was put up, and that was made to replace it. Wow. So I can just see Libbey Square just down there, and just a short sort of space is so much of Georgian's history, independence, art. But this here is Tbilisi's first public school, and that's actually what it's called, first public school. And it is classed as the oldest and most prestigious school in Georgia. I guess these are the founding fathers, but it was built by the Russians. And some of the most prominent Georgian figures have come from here. Must be school holidays because it's closed. Across the road from the first public school is the 9th of April Park, and at the entrance to the park is the Church of St. George, and that looks quite nice. I'm just impressed by the paintings as you walk in. Now, wow. Well, let's have a quick wander in very quickly. This church is cool. That wasn't too bad. It's quite small inside. But let's have a little wander to the park. Now there is another park further on down that way. Unfortunately, you can't get in, so I'm not too sure if we can get into this one. Wow. Now, I had planned on what I was going to see. I'd written down lots of little notes over the last day, but for this place, just because I've seen it on the map, I actually know nothing about it. So as you walk in, you've got the church behind me with the art museum, and then you've got this guy leaning against a post statue, dressed, I guess, in the early 1920s, probably. But this is the park because it's called 9th of April Park, to commemorate the guys who died in that demonstration. And it is quite peaceful, even though the traffic is just over there. I'm now leaving the park, and what's getting me is everywhere you look, whether it's in the park or just over there or on the street, there's statues everywhere, and a lot of them don't even have anything to say what they're for. But I mean, this one's just a lady reading a book, painting. As well as history growing up the street, you've got a better culture, and this is Rustaveli's National Theatre. Rustaveli being the name of the street that it's on. Now this is the oldest theatre in Georgia, built around 1887. It's all closed up at the moment. And it's got its own Hollywood Walk of Fame stars. I've just had a look at them, I've recognised none of the names. And it's got 3 stages in there, with the main stage holding about 800 people. Now there didn't seem to be any sort of posters to say what's going on in that place, anything cultural that I might want to see. Wow. And then next door, Burger House. But it is a stunning street. You can see all the architecture has been here for a long time. And carrying on with the culture theme, we've gone from the National Theatre to the National Opera Theatre. And this is not just the oldest opera theatre in Georgia, but Eastern Europe. And the architecture, Victor Schroeter, although he was a Baltic German architecture, he tried to give it a oriental sort of feel to the outside. It is beautiful. Now I think I've come towards the end of the main street. Don't really know. But you've got a lot of signs everywhere telling you exactly what you need to see. But this place here is the First Republic Square. And this is First Republic Square, marking Georgia's first shot at independence back in 1918. And this big modern ring sculpture here is called Nouveau, and it's a symbol of the city's constant reinvention. Now I've been sat here for the last sort of 5 minutes watching it, and it does move. It starts turning so far, then stops and turns again the other direction. There is no pattern, it just seems to be very random. Yeah, Nouveau. Now it could be turning with the wind because it is a windy day, because it's going faster now. Wow. So I'm going to have a wander down here because I think this leads to a view of the city. Let's have a look. And this is a view of Tbilisi. Obviously not all of it, but you can get an understanding of how big this place is. I have been out longer than what I thought it'd be. I can feel myself getting more bunged up. I can feel it on my chest. So I am now going to head back to the guest house. Now I was going to go back out tomorrow to go up to the hills and then look down on Tbilisi, but I think I need another day off just to recover a little bit more with more water, more fruit, more healthy stuff. But what I'll do is I'll get back to the guest house and I'll show you where I've been holding myself up for the last few days. And I'm back, and this is the room that I've had for the last couple of days and for the next few days while I recover. And a lot of people do like to know where I'm staying, how much it costs, and it is quite nice. mainly because of the fact there's a computer desk, well, a desk where I put my computer, a TV, there's ornaments, the bed is comfortable, there's a proper wardrobe. It feels like a proper home, and just a nice little seat to sit down. And then it's a shared bathroom and kitchen. The other room's over there, and this is £16 a night, which, as I said, just a little bit above my budget. Can we get into the bathroom? It's a bit dark, but yeah, power shower in there, and then it leads out into a nice little courtyard, so you're away from the traffic and it's just quiet. And if you're ever in Tbilisi and you fancy staying here, then all you got to do is find it on booking.com as Tbilisi Guest House. Easy. But I think it is time for me to chill, to relax. Might even have a little nap. But if you've enjoyed this little glimpse of Tbilisi, then all you got to do is press that like button. If you've not enjoyed the video, press it anyway, just out of sympathy for my cold. And if you want to see what the above of Tbilisi going around the top, then all you got to do is subscribe, because that'll be where I'll be going in 2 days time. But until the next time, I might just have a little sleep. Bye bye for now.